Today I am going to tell you how to load a cross table to ClickView. So before doing that, let us understand the difference between a simple table and a cross table. So in the Excel file you can see there is a simple table. It has three columns: names, month and sales. So this is a sales table where it shows the names of different sales rep and the month and different sales values they have done in that particular month. So this same table can be stored in a different way. If I go to sales tab of the Excel file, so the format it is in different format. So you see the name of the sales rep has been in column 1, but there is no month field here. Even the month names are distributed into different columns. So January is having one column, February is in second column, then March is in another column, April is in another column, and these values has been stored under that particular column. So A has done 100 sales in January and A has done 200 sales in February. So this is a cross table format. So we have to understand how to load this cross table to ClickView. Now I'll open my ClickView application. So this is a blank application and which I have just saved it as a cross table load.kvw. I'll go to the edit script. So I'll delete this script. I'll delete the script and I'll remove the tab itself and I'll load some new tab, and I'm giving the tab name as sales. So as I'm going to load the sales data here, so I'll give OK, and then I'll go to the table file. So from table file I have stored my information in the cross table format. So I'll click on open. So let's say I'm not doing any changes as per the normal table loading. So the sales table, and these are the field names, and clicking on finish, and I'll save it and I'll reload it. So once this is reloaded, we see different fields are available including name. So we have different fields for each month. So if I see the table viewer, Ctrl+T, then if you click on right click and do the preview, you'll see all the name, and in one column January in one column and February in one column, so like this. So this is what exactly in our sales in our cross table it is, but we want to do it in a simple table. So how to do that a simple table? So again I'll cancel this one. I'll go to edit script and I'll load the same script again. So before that we'll just select everything here and we'll make it comment, or else we can delete it by press the delete button. So again I'll go to the table files and then I'll choose my file cross table, and here again I have selected the same tables, say the sales table, and then all the fields are coming as it is. So now I'll go on next, and again one more next. So here in prefixes we have cross table button. So click on the cross table button, you can see different colors. So here qualifier fields is in coming in pink color. So qualifier field is something which is not changeable, which should not be changed. And January, February, March, so these are coming in one color. So these fields are representing the months. So we change it to months. And these are the values of sales. So these are coming in different color. So we'll say sales values or sales, or you can keep sales values, and click on OK, and then now click on finish, and again we load and we'll reload this. So now we have only three fields: month, name and sales values. If you click on OK and go to the table here, you will see there are only three fields, and right click and preview, we'll see only name, month and sales values. So this is a simple table format. So we have done the changes of a cross table to a simple table while loading to ClickView. So now ClickView will store this simple table. So now again we will see, so what if there are multiple fields which should be fixed. So for example, if I go to another cross table, here I have name, region, manager. So these three columns should be fixed, that should not be changed, or it should not be transposed. But these fields, January to February, March, it should transpose to one column, and these values of sales, it should come in fifth column. So these three columns will be there, and these fields January to December, it should come in fourth column, and the values of each sales values, will come in the fifth column. So how to do this loading? So let us go to again click view, and we'll cancel this. I'll go to the script editor again. So let us delete all the existing script, and I'll go to the table files again and click on cross tables again, the same source file I have, but here I have stored data in sheet 2. So I have selected sheet 2 and I'll go to next, and again one more next. So here I'll choose cross table again. Here the qualifier fields are 3 fields, so we have to select 3 here. You can click here or else you can directly type 3, number 3. So these 3 fields has been selected in different color, so which will not be transposed. Okay, and again the same thing in months are there in different colors, name of the months, so we have to give as months, and here the data values which are representing our sales values, we can give them as sales, and click on OK and then finish. So by default you can see the script is generated, and before the script we have cross table function also added to the script automatically. If you see, this is the table and cross table months, sales and 3. So this function is automatically added to the script. So the 3 number means it will ignore the first 3 fields of the table, and months means so it will rename the all the February, January, February, March names into one field, and that field name will be months, and whatever the field January and March and December up to December, what are the values of those fields, it will be stored under the sales values. So now we'll see these 3 fields and one more months and one more sales. So total 5 fields should be there in our table. If I click on save and reload it, so I have only 5 fields. One is name, then months, then region, then manager and then sales. So if I click on OK, and I can go to click on table here, and we will see the same thing, name, region, manager, months and sales. So if you preview it, you will see in a simple table format. So this is how we can convert a cross table which is there in different Excel file. We can convert it into a simple table to click view, and we can close it. Okay. So friends, we have seen as of now how to load a simple table and also how to load a cross table. Okay, so now there are some other different types of loads also available in ClickView. For example, preceding load, partial load, resident load, bundle load and binary load. So let us go one by one and we'll see what are these type of different loads and what do they do actually. Okay, so I'll just open a blank file now, blank application. I'll click on new and same, I'll close it. I'll just give a name and I'll save it in some folder, any folder like you have given your workbook folder. So under that we'll keep some types of loads. Okay, and I'll just click and save it. So this is the blank application, we have saved it under a name, and I'll go to edit script, Ctrl+E, and this is the default script. I'll add a new tab here. So we'll give here as preceding load. So we'll see what is the preceding load and what do that do. Okay, so click on OK. So now I'll go to my table files, I'll import the Excel file. Okay, so sample superstore sales is a file. Okay, I'll click on open. So once I click on open, so the Excel file is coming with different tables. So we have orders, returns and users. So let us take orders table, and as the first row of the Excel file is not the default column name, so we have to make it as embedded labels. So once you click on embedded labels, then the first row of the Excel file will become the original field names. Okay, so row ID, order ID, and then click on finish as of now. Okay, click on finish, and here the script is generated and it is with load function key and all these fields and from this Excel file. Okay, so this is basically what we know already. and I'll give a table name as orders, because this contains the order data. So friends, what is the preceding load? Preceding load will occur before the original load. So this is our original load, right? So when we have entered the Excel, chosen the Excel file, and we have done our Excel file table, then when you click on finish, so this script is generated. So this is a single load function is generated. So this load function is our original load. So before this original load, we can do another preceding load. So that will contain from the required table or required columns from this original load. Okay, so this is our original load. In this original load, we have the row ID, order date, order priority, order quantity, sales. So these are different columns, right? So if we want to do another load before this load, so how to do that? I'm just going to write down first. So I'll keep same load function, and then I can take something here. Let's say it is a sales. I'll just copy sales and keep it here, okay, and give a colon. Okay, so that means, so I am going to load sales. So this is our original load and this is our preceding load. So this table is now going to load the sales field from the same Excel file, okay, but it will be ignoring all other columns. Okay, so this is our default load, which is our original load, but we are doing a preceding load and we are keeping one single field. So let me just save it and reload it. Okay, the file is loading and we can see only sales field is available. If we go to table view or Control T, we'll see in the orders table we have only sales field and the values are there for the sales. We don't have the other fields as we are there in the, so I'll go to the Control E. Okay, so we have many fields, but we have got only sales in our database. Why? Because we done another preceding load before the original load, and there we mentioned only sales field. That's why it is coming only sales. So how do we get all the fields? If we, let's say for example, in this preceding load, I want to see before going that, let us see why it is required. So in the original field we have sales, okay, so why do we again load another load and load sales again? Okay, so the requirement is, friends, whenever there is some calculation you want to do, let's say we have unit price, okay, and shipping cost is there. Okay, you want to give a multiplication between this, so you want to find what is the total cost, total shipping cost for the total unit. Okay, so how do you do that, friends? So just take these fields. Okay, so I'll remove sales as of now. I'll delete here and I'll take unit price. Okay, I'll copy and just paste it here, and then I'll put one multiplication, then I'll put shipping cost for a unit. Okay, and I'll put it here. Okay, friend, and here, so this will multiply unit price into shipping cost. Okay, and we have to give a name of this field. This will be this will create a new field, guys. So we have to give a name as total shipping, total ship cost. Okay, so if we give like this, then in the load, original load, it will find what is the unit price and what is the shipping cost. So it will multiply these both two fields and it will create a new field as total ship cost. So let's see how it happens. So we'll save it and reload it. So now we got the field, and that is only one field is available, total ship cost. Okay, and if you go to the table here also, we'll find only single table is available. Okay, so how do we get all the fields along with this new field? Okay, so we'll go to the again script editor. So I'll just put star and then comma. Okay, so comma is nothing but just you have to remember that when you use a load function, so each field, after each field we are putting a comma, right? So that's why I kept a star. Star will include all the fields which is there in the below load. Okay, so which is there in the original load, it will included by the star. So then I kept just star and then 1 comma, and then I kept a new field here. So you can do another, if you want to do another calculation also. So let's say I want profit. Okay, this is a profit is a field, right? So I want profit into 100. So as new profit, let's say. So this is just for an example. So we can keep and just keep our semicolon. So after the last field you have to keep semicolon. For each field we have to keep a comma like this, and after the last field of the load, so you have to keep a semicolon. So once you done it, so now if you click save and load it, so how many fields will get, friends? So we'll get all the load because we have kept star here. Okay, so we'll get all the fields from the original Excel file, and along with all the fields we'll get two new fields. One is total ship cost, one is new profit. So we have saved it and let's reload it now. Okay, it's loading, and now you see all the fields have been loaded here. Okay, and what are our new column? Total ship cost is our new column, right? And also one new profit we kept, that is also came here. Along with all the original fields from the Excel file, we get also the new two fields. Okay, and if you go to the table viewer also, everything will be available now. Okay, so if you expand the orders table, you will find everything there. Okay, so just by using your mouse you can expand the table to see all the fields. Okay, so this is how preceding load is useful. And guys, so you can tell me one thing, so these things can we do inside this single first original load or not? Yes, of course we can do it. So how do we do it? Let's say I don't have this, so I can let me comment it. Okay, I'll just make it and I'll select all this first load. I'll just click right click and keep on comment. So these fields will not be loaded now. Okay, so inside this is now our original load, right? So in this original load, can we add this, can we do these two new fields? So can we do this? So now let me just copy, okay, and copy the enter script here, and somewhere at the end I'll do it. I'll add this one, and here, this last one also I'll add. Okay, and keep a comma. Okay, so can we do like this, friends? So inside the single load, original load, can we do like this? Yes, of course we can do. Okay, so now let us see. So we saved it and reload it. Now that's also working fine, right? So otherwise if you have some error, then initially you will get an error message, right? So you don't getting an error message and it is loading properly. All the fields are now available, and you can see the same total ship cost and new profit also available. Okay, so if you go to the table here, you will see all the orders table, and you can see the preview. You'll find all your original columns along with the two new columns. So then, friends, what is the difference between preceding load and putting it here, putting it in, putting the new calculation in the preceding load or else the original load? What is the difference? So guys, you have to remember one thing. So these things, let's say you are doing a calculation between the original fields, right? So these are our original fields which is there in our original data, that is in our Excel file, right? So if you are doing any calculation between the original field, you can do so in the original load itself. Okay, so for example, unit price and shipping cost, so this is our original fields, right? So these, any calculation between these two, you can directly create inside the first load itself. Okay, because it will, the click view know where is the unit price and where is the shipping cost is. But let's say I want to use this total ship cost. Okay, so this is a new field created by multiplying this unit price and shipping cost. Now I want to create another calculation with the total ship cost into 100, let's say for example. Okay, total ship cost into 100, can I do inside this original load? So it will give an error. Why? So let me choose, now I'll go here, let me go to the end, I'll keep another total ship cost, okay, into 100 as new total ship cost, just for keeping a name like that, don't go for the name. Okay, so now I kept this is unlike I taken this new field total ship cost and multiplied 100, like the profit into 100 we can kept, right? So this thing is working fine because profit is our original, it is inside the original Excel file. Okay, so this is the original field, right? So we can keep profit into 100 as new profit, this is working fine. So whether this one also will work fine or not. So I'm in the total ship cost, which is created a new, it is not available in the original file, right? So the total ship cost, there is no column like that in Excel file. So if we load now, whether it is accepting it or not. So now I'll just save it and reload it. Friends, you are getting the error message now, right? So what it says, like field not found, total ship cost. Okay, so this total ship cost is not a original field, that means it is not present in our original source or Excel file which we loaded, right? That is why what we have done here, so we have created this total ship cost is a field which is created by us by multiplying some other fields, right? So this field, it's a new field, so we have to click on OK and go to the edit script again. So here these things we cannot use again. So if so, remember one thing, that is the thing, main thing here, that if you created some new field here, so that new field you cannot use inside the same load again. Okay, so what we have to do, we can remove this. Okay, and if you want to do some calculation for this, you have to go to the preceding load. Okay, so this is, let us say we don't need this now. I'll just remove everything here. I'll keep a preceding load here, load, then I'll keep star to cover all the fields. Then I'll take this total ship cost now, right? So this is a total ship cost which is created already. So total ship cost into 100 as new total ship cost. Okay, and put a column. Okay, now if I reload it, now it is working fine, guys. Okay, if we go to the table viewer, we'll see all the things with our shipping cost, with our new total ship cost, right? Total ship cost into 100, it will be new total ship cost. So how do you say whether it is correct or not? Because total ship cost, what we have done, we have multiplied 100 to create our new field as new total ship cost. So if I can create a table here, friends, don't go as of now here, because I am just showing it for understanding purpose only. Okay, so this is our total ship cost and our new total ship cost. Just I am saying is I am creating this for the comparison point of view, so you don't have to worry about this. We will go this table viewer later part also, how to create these things. So if we see every time when there is every row, we can see it multiplied into 100. So 1.305 multiplied into 100, that is 130.5. 1.232 multiplied into 100, so that become 123.2, right? So exactly the calculation also working fine here, right? So that is why preceding load is required. So whenever you are creating some calculation between the original field, you can do so in the original load. But again, if you are creating you want to use the same new field again for another calculation, you have to do so in the preceding load. So guys, you can ask me again now that this is a new field we created, right? So can we use another calculation on this new field? Yes, of course you can do, but not on this load or on this load. Okay, so we have to create another preceding load for this one. So how do we do? Like, let's say for example, I'll keep another load, okay, and I'll include all the fields, so I'll just keep load star, and then this is my new field which is created before this load, so I'll add this, okay, into I'll add another 100 as a new let's say some name just for new cost or new zip cost. Any name you can just give for your learning purpose, not a problem. So by the way, the meaning, the names are not be meaningful here, but still I am just giving to identify whether our purpose is solved or not. Okay, so now, so we have first our script, we have first our original load. In the original load we have this unit price and shipping cost as our original column names, so we are multiplying them and finding our total ship cost. Okay, so this total ship cost is a new field which cannot be used inside this load, right? So we have added a new preceding load for this one. So this total ship cost into 100 become our new total ship cost. Now again we are doing some calculation on this new field, so we have to do another preceding load, guys. So we can do new total ship cost into 100 as new ship cost. Okay, now let me save it and reload it. Whether it is working fine or not, we'll see. Okay guys, yeah, it's cool, it is working fine. So we can create new fields multiple times, and we can use preceding load to use calculation on the new fields, right? So now we'll see in this table here, let's say this is the table box we created, right? So we have total ship cost and new total ship cost. Now we'll add this one, the new field which we created, right? Now we see, so 79 into 100, it becomes 7980, right? So 88.2, it became 8820, right? So it multiplies into 100 as per the calculation we have given, right? So exactly now matching. So total ship cost into 100, we became new total ship cost, and into new total ship cost into 100, it became new ship cost. Okay, so as per our calculation inside, we given the back end, so everything is coming correctly in front end. So this is the preceding load, guys. Okay, so now we'll see another load. So friends, we'll see what is a resident load. Okay, so here we have done some preceding load, like one or two preceding load. You can do so many also on above the top of one by one load. Also you can create some multiple preceding load. Okay, so now we'll see what is a resident load. Okay, so by the preceding load, what we have done here, we have created a single table here, orders table. Okay, so all these loads belong to this particular table. If you go to the table here, you will see only one table exists in our database, right? Orders, and these are different fields. Okay, so in the resident load, what happens, guys, we can pull some fields from the existing table. So orders table is our existing table in our database, right? So it is residing in our database. So what we can do now, we can pull some different columns from this table. I can do our calculation, or we are data modeling or other things, and then you can store in another new table. So how do you do that? Let's say for example, I'll go to the end of the script, I'll give a small spaces like 1 or 2 lines, so that we can identify the other table. Okay, so now what I'll keep another table like new table, let's say new resident table. I'll keep a column. Okay, don't go for the errors now. Okay, because we'll correct these errors, and we'll keep load statement. Okay, and here, so let's say we want to pull, so this is our orders table, right? So we want to pull this some region. Let's say there is a region field. I just want to pull region from there, and I want to store it as my new region. Let's say it may be required in real time when you are doing a project, it may be required in different scenarios, right? But we have to understand what is the concept of resident load. So I want to pull this region as new region, Then I can put some another thing also, customer name, and let me take customer name. Okay, आज customers we have to put a comma here. Okay, and then we have to use a function as resident. Guys, if you start writing re, so it coming up the what are the functions available, right, in the name. So you can just keep your tab and use your tab key to enter that same function directly. Okay, you don't have to write down everything directly. Okay, so if you write down re and then resident is coming up, then you can click your tab button. Okay, so it will take the function directly. Okay, so resident, then what it residing? So these fields, region, customer name. Okay, so these fields are residing in our orders table. So I have to go to the top and copy the orders table. So just copy the name of the table. Okay, and then you just after the resident you just paste it here. Okay, and then as usual after the table loads, so we have to keep a comma, that's semicolon, sorry. Okay, so we can use like this. So this means, so this orders table is already present in our database. So friends, if some table is not present in our database, then you cannot do a resident load. So this will give an error. So as this is already present in our database, then you can do a resident load. And while you're doing a resident load, you can just you have to use a load key, and just same functions as like these are the original fields which is present in our orders table. So you can keep those original fields and rename them to do or some calculation. Even if here also, guys, we can do some calculation like give customers, then we can, let's say we want to do sales into 100, right, and we can keep as new sales. Okay, so this is also fine, guys. So sales is present in our orders table and we are multiplying with 100 and creating a field as new sales. Okay, and then we have to use a key, that is the resident. Okay, this is the function. So it says the orders table is residing in our database, and from this orders table we have to create this, we have to take this region field and customer name field and sales field and do our manipulation or calculation. Then we are storing all these new fields. So these 3 new fields will be stored in our new resident table. So this is another table we are creating. So guys, now let's go click on save and reload it. Okay, now you click on OK. If we go to the table here, now we have 2 different tables. Okay, so this is our original table, first table we created, orders table. Okay, now we create another table as a new resident load table, new resident table. So this table contains only 3 fields, guys, as we have already in our if we go to the script editor, we see only 3 fields, we kept it here in the second table. Okay, so remember, guys, so preceding load is something which load will come before the original load, but resident load comes after the original load. So after once you done your original load, the table is residing in our database, then from that you can do another load. So that is called as resident load. Okay, so sometimes it happens like precedent load will be required sometimes, and sometimes you need a resident load. So this concept is that this is the difference between these two concepts. Okay, preceding load and resident load. I'll click on load and you can see the difference. Okay, fine.